So the government has submitted next year's budget proposal, and with the National Assembly beginning its deliberations this week, a fierce debate is expected over the expansionary fiscal stance and the president's key policy programs. For more, we turn to our political correspondent, Hye-ryeon. Welcome back, Hye-ryeon.
Good evening, Dami.
So, Hye-ryeon, we just heard President Lee Jae Myung deliver his speech on the budget proposal. Walk us through the key agenda and the review schedule for now.
That's right. So as you've said, the president revealed the outline of the government's first full-year budget in his policy speech this morning. And with this, Parliament will kick off its budget review. On Wednesday, so tomorrow, the National Assembly's Special Committee on Budget and Accounts will hold a public hearing on the proposal, where experts and committee members debate on the core contents of the budget bill. This will then be followed up by general policy inquiries on Thursday and Friday this week. The committee will then summon officials from various ministries to thoroughly examine the budget bill, and it does this by dividing the ministries into economic and non-economic ministries. So the likes of the Ministry of Economy and Finance would be categorized into the former, while those such as the Ministry of Education will be sorted into the latter. Economic ministries will be reviewed on the 10th and the 11th, and non-economic ministries on the 12th and the 13th. And during this process, the members of the National Assembly will ask questions about major items for increase or reduction, policy priorities, and the feasibility of budget execution. Then, from November 17th, a budget adjustment subcommittee begins the detailed review process, adjusting spending before the deadline of December 2nd.
Right, so Hye-ryeon, this is the first budget proposal under the Lee Jae Myung administration. Now, what are the highlights of the proposal? Walk us through them.
Right, so the 728 trillion won budget for 2026, it's aimed at both recovery and growth through bold fiscal spending. It's the largest budget in South Korea's history, and the government says it's focusing on performance-based fiscal management, so cutting inefficient projects while investing heavily in key growth engines. 27 trillion won, just under $19 billion was cut to restructure inefficient projects and administrative costs. And aside from the focus on AI and research and development, as outlined by President Lee in his policy speech, other notable allocations include support for industries affected by U.S. tariffs and direct cash payments for rural residents as part of new pilot programs. With the South Korea-U.S. summit during the APEC leaders meeting in Gyeongju still fresh in people's minds and the local elections coming up next year, it's no surprise that the budget reflects these priorities. And another big aspect of government spending plans for next year includes social safety nets and housing, which reflect ongoing efforts to address Korea's demographic shifts.
So the budget proposals sound promising as they are planned to go into new growth engines like AI, but the record budget also comes with a great controversy. How are the main opposition and the ruling parties reacting to this?
That's right. So today, the main opposition, People Power Party, actually boycotted President Lee's policy speech this morning at the National Assembly, protesting what it calls political oppression by the government. Wearing black masks and ribbons, reading Mourning for Liberal Democracy, opposition lawmakers staged a silent protest on the steps of the main hall, condemning the recent arrest warrant request for former floor leader Chu Kyung-ho in relation to the failed martial law order last December. The Speaker of the National Assembly, Woo Won-sik, opened the session by welcoming the president's visit, noting that while political discord remains, cooperation is vital.
Since this is a very crucial time, I believe it's especially important for the National Assembly and the government to work closely together and take a step forward in cooperation.
He praised the administration's diplomatic gains at the recent APEC leaders meeting, saying they restored market confidence and national pride. Democratic Party lawmakers applauded repeatedly throughout the president's 22-minute speech, particularly as he highlighted the government's efforts to stabilize the economy and improve citizens' livelihoods.
Well, do keep us posted on this political clash between the ruling and main opposition parties over the next year's budget. Hye-ryeon, thank you so much for coming in tonight.
Thank you for having me, Dami.